This tape is on Miles Davis, one of the greatest musicians, period. I loved his outspoken candor about how he felt about racial everything. The man was always black with it. And I loved how he just made you feel so soulful and so movement what he spoke on and how his music took a life of its own. And his genius was also the fact that he could just take any of his musicians, no matter what, and he would flip the script. He didn't look back in his rear view. He always was looking ahead, and I admired his approach to channeling in the new, looking into what was happening. He was a brother that was happening, depth. He conveyed that message. His music was always forward thinking. He wasn't afraid of taking chances. He was a painter that was like Picasso, but he was always painting on a new canvas. That canvas that I did an hour ago is old. The canvas that I'm working on now is new. And that's what Miles Davis meant musically. He understood time and space. He understood spiritual sanity and sanctuary with his tones and his feels, and you felt those changes. You felt what his music was conveying, and he put so much into so many pieces that it take a lifetime to truly appreciate what he was painting. But I love the audacity, the boldness, the frankness, the rawness, the earthiness, and the changes that felt like the way music is supposed to feel. It's like he was poetic with his trumpet. He was poetic with his tone. He was poetic with his eyes, his expression, and you knew everybody was on that even keel, and it made sense. It was confessional of words through his horn and his feelings that had fire, rage, passion, had beauty, and it was very poetic. That's how I would describe the greatness of the one and only Miles Dewey Davis, one of the greatest musicians ever in any field of music. Music does not need to be labeled. We leave that to the racist industry because that's what they do. They get paid to find a way to put you in a box and say, this is what you're going to play, this is what you're going to sound, this is how you're going to do it. And then we're going to look to water it down. Miles Davis was one of those guys, you couldn't put a label by what he did because he did as he felt, and that's the way music is supposed to be. He made you think, he made you feel it. You can listen to sketches of Spain, and it doesn't sound like On the Corner, which doesn't sound like what he would do with Decoy, you know, or the Jack Johnson soundtrack, you know, or The Birth of Cool, or The Silent Way, the kind of blue is like kind of blue was the jazz, much like what Thriller was to R&B and power for Michael Jackson. And ain't funny thing, Miles later did cover Michael Jackson's Human Nature and turn that mother out. But that was, the sounds, the tones, the feelings. That's what you asked for. And time to time, I'm going to reflect on artists that I want to talk about because I was feeling with the music. And Miles Davis was one of those guys that his music always resonated with me. The soulful attitude of the trumpet, and but also the way his band, everything was just cohesively his own direction, and it was very spiritually and psychologically rewarding. And I enjoy and I embrace that. And this is presented to give him respect to him. Always put some respect by Miles Davis's name musically. All right, I'm out. Peace.